gosh, I would go there with my high school friends. Yes, Prairie Village. And what was the name of the bookstore that used to be there? I don't think
Mitch Schneider.
Benedict Schneider. Well, that's a long time ago. Then I think it turned into something else. Yeah, you and I date ourselves with what we remember from Kansas City. So it's so fun to see people's eyesores because I'm getting like a boost. Oh, someone says 1-800-GOT-JUNK came to pick up a horrible couch and 2 old recliners.
Oh, nice.
Put some old kids' toys in boxes in the basement so they can play with them in a few months. That is very advanced parenting. I have to say, I rarely pulled that off, but that thing where you put some things away so then your kids, they're new again. I think that's such a good idea.
By the way, Gretch, she says that she loves cafeteria and she knows Mindy, who's my best friend in Kansas City. So
fun.
Tell Mindy hi for me.
Oh, good. Oh, that's so fun. Liz, you have classic style. You like the piping. I do too. Oh, yeah, Liz, let's see. Oh, piping. Yep. Maybe that's your rule.
This is j.crew. Classic.
And I'm wearing a collared shirt.
I love that shirt, Gretch.
Yeah. Well,
another.
I wondered if it was too busy, but maybe
not at all.
Maybe it's this again. If you want to hear the discussion of the collared shirt, which clearly is like taking over our minds, it was a recent episode of Happier in Hollywood.
Yes.
And you were talking about something in Happier in Hollywood just today that I thought was so interesting. And you sort of threw it out for comment. So maybe we should ask everybody here, which was Sara said why she wanted, we usually say choose the bigger life.
Yes, with Gretchen, in honor of that, I have I know it's backward, choose the bigger life, happier mug.
Yes, and I have the sweatshirt and I think there's a tote bag. So choose the bigger life is like a wonderful, it's also a great way to make decisions. Like when we were trying to figure out whether or not to get a dog, I thought choose the bigger life. But like everything, the opposite of a profound truth is also true. And so now Sara's trying to figure out how she can live a smaller life. So explain what that means.
Yes. Well, I mean, she's an only parent in this global pandemic. So she is just totally on her own with her daughter. And it has been a lot, doing all the cooking, all the cleaning, all the remote learning and working. So she's just trying to figure out ways to make her life easier. Some of the ones she and I thought of were like she got 2 stick vacuums for upstairs and downstairs because it's just so much, which is like a wire, a plug-free, cord-free.
I have to say, this was a revelation to me. I'd never heard of a stick vacuum. It sounds like a terrific thing. I would give us a thumbs up if you have a good experience with a stick vacuum, or if you have a recommendation, because I was like,
yes.
The thing about a vacuum cleaner is it's like the hauling around
is
the problem. It's not the vacuum.
So labor intensive. I vacuumed our whole house the other day and I was sweating.
It's like a weight workout and a resistance workout, and then like find the plug and
so she also is using more paper plates to cut down on dishes. I will say I had a moment of satisfaction because I sort of said, now do you wish you didn't have those 2 guinea pigs? And she was like, I so wish I did not have 2 guinea pigs.
No, I remember that. Well, the funniest thing, maybe my favorite moment in all of Happier in Hollywood, was when Sara was still thinking about getting the Flemish Giant rabbit, which is like, it is a rabbit as big as like a pony. And you said kind of under your breath, almost like to yourself, you're like, does it hop? Can it hop? Like, how big is this thing? So instead of getting the giant rabbit, she got the 2 guinea pigs. And when she's like, well, I'm not going to open, laughingly, she's like, yes, I'll just open the door and let them free. And I was like,
sounds like
a plan.
So a lot of people are saying Dyson. I've been looking at Dysons.
Well, is there a particular one? Like usually there's there's the regular one, there's the premium one, there's the super premium one, and then there's one that has like some weird feature that you're like, if I knew enough, would I think this was the most important feature? Like it's silent or something. I don't know. So, someone says they're fantastic, and never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd be saying that about a vacuum. Dyson, Dyson, Dyson. Wow. Okay. Somebody said, can it hop?
Oh, and someone says they're at Costco.
So that was a great way to choose the smaller life.
Yes, that's it, right. And others think she should actually get a Roomba or whatever, Rumba. I think you have those vacuum cleaners that just go on their own. So we came up with our own ways that she could choose a smaller life, but definitely we're asking listeners. We've already gotten some suggestions. Like people were saying, picking out a uniform, for this time, really just wear like 2 pair of leggings and 5 different shirts and just leave it at that. Um, Eat the same thing for breakfast and lunch every day. Like there were a lot, the same route walking. Now, some of these you might get bored, but I got what she was saying, which was decreased decision fatigue.
Right, right. If you're just joining, I'm Gretchen Rubin. This is Elizabeth Kraft. We are the hosts of the Happier with Gretchen Rubin podcast, and we're talking about why you might want to choose the smaller life, at least right now. And it seems like a lot of the decisions are about decision fatigue and trying to take out the decision fatigue.
Here's an idea.
One thing I was thinking is like, for a lot of people, school is going to be over in like a month. And so then if you think, okay, well, then that's 4 Mondays and 4 Tuesdays. And the last week of school isn't going to be real. So, okay, write that off. The end is in sight for people who are really struggling with the teleschooling thing. I think unless you're extending the school year, which maybe they are doing in some districts, our school talked about that, but then ended up not adding instructional days. It's not 6 months.
Another suggestion someone had, which I thought was really good, was stretch out cleaning. So if you normally clean the bathroom once a week, clean it every 10 days. Yeah. If you normally change your sheets every week, change them every 2 weeks or whatever.
Washing the towels. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. And another thing I thought was interesting, someone said, shut off. If there's a room of your house that you don't really use, just shut the door. Don't clean it. Don't go in there. And then it sort of makes your space smaller.
Well, that's like with like country houses where they would just shut off a wing.
Yes.
Oh, this is a good one. Someone says, instead of asking kids, what do you want to eat, etc., give them only two choices each time you're prepared to give them. And so I think that's, and then someone says, but during COVID though, clean high contact areas daily.
That's true.
Right. But then and just depending on how your household is, you may have, like in New York City, probably people don't have any spaces that are not used. Right. But I could imagine that for some people, it's like, just take it off the roster of having to maintain it. I wonder if there's anything about simplifying, like meal planning. Well, I guess that's like have the same meals every day, because then meal planning, how many cans of soup you need, or how much tuna fish you eat in a week. So that's easier. Someone says, my dog cannot cope with the Roomba at all. Well, Jamie got a Roomba. I think more to play with than anything. Barnaby is just very, very skeptical. He follows it around and barks at it.
Oh, really?
So he's not sure about the Roomba, but he doesn't attack it or whatever. He just seems distressed by it a little bit, but not overly. Someone said, I ordered new, nicer sheets to make my life better. Oh, that's nice. That's a good idea.
Gretchen, it's interesting. I think a lot of people are upgrading certain things in their house to help get through this time.
Like what?
Well, like someone's getting sheets. We actually bought new towels, which I didn't even connect until the person said they bought new sheets. We bought them from Bowl and Branch. Shout out to our advertiser.
Shout out to I got new dish towels for Mother's Day, because our dish towels, I was looking around because I wanted to hold it up at some point. I can't remember what I did with it. We were literally had holes in our dish towels, which as an underbuyer, I felt was enormously satisfying that we'd really worn them out. Now we'll use them as rags. But it is nice to have fresh new ones that aren't stained.
Someone says they got a new rug for their bedroom.
So there you go.
And a friend of mine does audio systems, like high-end audio systems. And he said, and he's considered an essential worker, and he's been busier than ever because he said people are home and they want their systems working, or they want to upgrade their systems. So it's just interesting when you're at home all the time. Yeah. What do you suddenly see that you didn't see before?
Well, I think also now that a lot of people, there's a lot of talk that for the people who are kind of office workers who might be working at home, not just sort of through this period, but that maybe for years, that the whole way we engage with offices, especially in places like New York City where the real estate prices are so high, it seems like there's a lot of re-envisioning of what an office would look like and who would go to the office and under what circumstances. It might be that people are sort of look, let me get ahead of this thing, because rather than have some makeshift solution limping along, because it looks like this is a good investment.
Yeah.
Someone said rearrange the furniture. It makes it feel fresh. Well, that's a great. Some people are so good at rearranging furniture. I can never see it.
Never crosses my mind.
Yeah.
Someone says buy new plants, which Adam, of course, has been buying plants. He just planted like a whole new, like 4 big new plants in the front that look great, but I mean they're like bushes really. So it's a lot of hard work.
Who knew that Adam had this aspect of him? It just like,
I know.
It was like somebody flipped a switch and like the gene fired up in
I know.
like DNA or something.
And it
someone
looks
says,
so good.
Somebody says, how can we watch these if we don't catch it live? Okay, I might not even get this right, but I think you can go to IGTV and you can watch it there. And I think you can watch it from my profile within 24 hours. And I think you can watch it live on desktop if you want to see the comments on the side instead of on Corliss with space, because that we can't move the pictures. We can't move the image. But so it looks better on desktop if you happen to be around a desk, but that you have to watch live. But I think on IGTV there you can go and watch, and people I'm sure are much better at all this than I am. So say something in the comments if we got it wrong.
Gretch, someone says lots of pools are being installed in their neighborhood. And because, now you can buy a pool that's made out of like a container material. So it's much easier and much cheaper than traditional pools. I'm just learning about this from friends who are same thing. They're like, we're going to have the kids at home all summer, no summer camp. And now they've decided to put in one of these container pools to, have a place to swim.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Somebody said, I'm going to rearrange. It seems like a lot of people are going to rearrange. Oh, I'm about to upgrade my back deck furniture and garden. This is my reward for clutter clearing. Someone says, how many gardens are being started because of the pandemic? I bet a lot. I think that's very interesting. I haven't actually seen a lot of like culture writing about that. And I think that's a really good point. I think a lot of people are getting into gardening.
And a lot of vegetable gardens, I think.
Yeah. Oh, someone says, I'm having my college students help me upgrade my virtual work life. Well, that sounds like a great idea. Plants. I got a bunch of house plants, which I never have had before. I made a terrarium with succulents, which I'm excited about, plus some other pet-friendly plants, had them delivered. And you can imagine that like going to a nursery seems like the kind of thing that maybe would be permissible fairly early, because a lot of it's outdoors and it would be easy to maintain social distancing. So I can see how that could, it says lots of nurseries are sold out of veggie seeds. Okay. How many people have been astonished by how often you have an idea, which seems very idiosyncratic and like out of left field. And then you're like, okay, there are no more exercise bands. There are no more sewing machines. There are no stick vacuums. There are no more microphones. There are no more laptops. There are no more barbell or whatever it is, no guitars. Everybody's trying to write a novel. It's funny how yeast, we all go to the same place. If you're just joining, I'm Gretchen Rubin. This is Elizabeth Kraft. We're the host of the Happier with Gretchen Rubin podcast. It's interesting. I wonder for obligers if a garden is a good thing, because it requires you. Like you can't not do it because your plants will die and all your money will be wasted and all your effort will be wasted. So I wonder if that might be a good kind of self-enforcing hobby, more than something like practicing the piano would be.
I'm thinking of our grandparents' vegetable garden. The cucumbers and tomatoes were so good.
Yes. Yeah.
And to me, it's weird because I always think of cucumbers as their cucumbers, and the ones in the store just don't look the same. They're much smaller and they just look weird to me to this day. Yeah.
It's that North Platte, Nebraska soil, I guess. And if you don't know what an obliger is, I just realized, take the quiz at quiz.gretchenrubin.com and find out if you're an upholder, a questioner, an obliger, or rebel. And then you'll sort of understand like why a garden might be. Somebody says, yes, I am an obliger. And yes, it's like looking after more kids. You feel bad if you delay the care. Someone says, that's me. I always think I'll kill them and then I'll have to throw them away and then I'll feel guilty. So this is a good example of how outer accountability can help obligers do what they want to do. It's not that they don't want to do it, but they need some kind of accountability to keep them doing it. Yeah, so this question of choose the smaller life. I mean, the thing is, Sara has, oh, and if you want to learn more, I just remembered the Four Tendencies course, because a lot of people seem to be just like they're baking bread. A lot of people, thank you very much, are signing up for the Four Tendencies course to learn more about the four tendencies. It is on sale now. So go to I can never remember. Is it 4T course? 4T course. GretchenRubin.com/4T course, or just search Gretchen Rubin Four Tendencies course.
Gretch, I have to laugh because someone just said they bought a paraffin wax machine because their hands were so chapped and dried from washing. And it just reminds me that one time Sara and I were talking about paraffin wax machines, and in her overbuyerness, she was like, oh, I have one of those in my garage, which it just seemed, I would just never buy that. So anyway,
yes, that feels
cheers to the person who owns the paraffin wax machine.
Well, also, I mean, this is a good example of like, didn't we have a challenge a couple of weeks ago where it was like, use a device that you're not using?
Yeah.
And we were talking, what was the example? It was like, I tried that thing that makes sous vide eggs.
Right.
But a paraffin wax thing, that's something that's very easy to have. And you think, oh, this will be a lot of fun. And then you just sort of never get around to it. Someone says, my brother is procrastinating on doing the Four Tendencies quiz. I swear he's a rebel. Many times rebels will refuse to take the quiz if you tell them to do it. And questioners will be like, why should I take this quiz? It's not possible to summarize all of human nature into four blunt categories. Who is this person anyway? Where's the research showing this is true? It's like, why would I waste my time on this? And I'm like, yeah, I can just tell your question. Your mere objections. Yeah. Like, you don't even need to take the quiz. So I've heard it all. Meal planning 3 meals a week, but doubling and freezing half for the next week. Oh, that's great. Someone said, I got the popcorn machine out of the basement. Oh, the popcorn machine.
Yes, that was so good. You know what I bought, Gretch, which we haven't done yet, is I bought for Jack a Jiffy Pop. Those are the things.
Oh my gosh.
It's sitting on our stove. I haven't done it yet, but I'll take a picture of it and post on Insta when we do it.
Okay, that brings me to, so today, yesterday, the new Happier episode, we talked about getting grounded in your body and how if you're feeling kind of uneasy or discombobulated, disembodied, like just kind of like spinning out of control, to get grounded in your body is something that a lot of people find helpful. And we talked about a lot of ideas, everything from like smelling black pepper to like really feeling the lathery feeling of shampoo. Alyssa, you mentioned shaving cream. I love
yeah.
Something like the squeakiness of cornstarch, just like going and sort of enjoying it. And then that also reminded us of kind of the sensorium gift, which is the idea that you create a gift. We talked about that in an earlier episode.
265, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right. Because and that's where you give someone like a package and the things in it are aimed at you have something to stimulate each of the 5 senses. It's kind of a way to give it this kind of unifying feeling. But Jiffy Pop, I feel like Jiffy Pop is so satisfying because there's something about the way the tinfoil swirls and the smell releases and the crunchiness of the ones that don't pop. I mean, I feel like that is, and I think if you said, why is Jiffy Pop popular? It is because the way that it looks and it's fascinating. Someone says I use my Kindle paper
sound.
What? Yes. Oh yeah, the sound of it is very someone says also the name of Jiffy Pop is just so cute. That's great. Jiffy Pop is such a classic of my childhood. Oh, there goes your phone. Yeah, my phone's been ringing off the hook. No, nobody's calling. So no, but this is a great thing too, because I've been thinking about this a lot for my book about the senses, and that's the sense of time. And people are saying it takes you back to your childhood. And what I'm curious is like, what will my children now associate with this time? Because this time it's like current fashion always feels like non-fashion. And, and current things feel just like almost like timeless choices. Or like, I have such vivid memories of our grandparents, but I'm like, I wonder what Eliza and Eleanor will remember of their grandparents. Because again, I'm just like, this just seems like ordinary life.
Right.
But it will be nostalgic later. I don't know. It's just funny.
Someone's asking, what is Jiffy Pop? It's hard to explain, but basically it's a popcorn in a tin, and you turn on the stove and you go like this over the stove, and then it expands and it pops in this tin foil, and then you open the tin foil and there's the popcorn.
It kind of comes in its own saucepan, so you don't need to put it in any other container. It's self-contained, and then it sort of turns into it. Watch it on like a YouTube video of it or something. It's sort of weirdly, it's one of these things that's like mesmerizing. It's kind of like Pringles, where you're like, what is this Pringles? And you just like have to like look at it and just, it's like, what the heck is going on with this item? Somebody says, somebody says, what's the next book club pick? Remember, we will be talking about Me Talk Pretty One Day on May 21st.
Yes, David Sedaris. I was listening to some today, Gretchen, lamenting in my mind that you won't listen to it.
Yeah.
Because it's so great to listen to. I recommend listening to it on Audible.
Okay, I'm going to listen to a clip because I do want to just hear his voice. I heard it a long time ago. Oh, maybe tomorrow, Liz, you could show a Jiffy. Do you have one that's not popped that you could hold up?
Yes, I do. Okay, yeah, I'll show it to you unpopped, and then we'll pop it this weekend, and I'll take a picture of what it looks like.
Okay, good. Somebody said, Me Talk Pretty Someday is so fun to read. I love, and then someone else says, love David Sedaris. Somebody else says, I finished it. I loved it. Okay, that's great.
It has me laughing out loud. Also crying.
Oh, okay. Ooh, yeah. So you laughed, you cried. What more could a person ask for? Okay, now let's do the accountability check-in. What are you asking to be held accountable for? Put it in the comments. And what do you deserve a gold star for? Did you get rid of an eyesore? Have you been walking 20 and 20? So you guys had a hack for walking today. What was it?
Oh, yes. Okay, a friend of ours, a writer, was talking about Zoom fatigue and these writer meetings. So she said what she suggested was just having regular conference calls instead of Zoom. And then I said, hey, how about having walking conference calls?
Yes.
Because we do walking meetings, but everyone's walking in their own house or on the street or, wherever you walk.
Yeah.
Because I think it increases productivity. So that was my hack.
I was just, again, from my body book, I was reading all this research about how you actually you generate more creative ideas when you're walking. And you and Sara always say that, like, when you get stuck, or like you and Marcia and Sara would walk. And there's a lot of research that suggests why that is, about like, it has to do with the brain's ability to like make remote associations and not get stuck in a groove. And so if you're like, keep thinking about something and you can't think of anything original, going out for a walk up and half. So, okay. Someone says power hour today. Great. We outdoored at least days this week and can't see what that word is. Okay.
Mom's here, Gretch. Hi, Mom.
Oh, I didn't see that. Hey, Mom. Someone says, oh, no gold stars here this week. Too much sugar and wine lately. Well, tomorrow is another day.
Yes.
You can start over.
Gretch, I have a new accountability thing I want to toss out, which is today I want to take notes. I'm always talking about my theoretical book I want to write, a novel.
Yes.
I want to take notes. I've been talking to you about all these things, and you're like, write it down. So today I want to take a little time and just make notes in my Google Doc for my book. Not really writing, just note taking.
Well, that's the way I start every book, because I feel like first you take tons of notes, then you organize the notes, then you put some structure around the notes, and then you have an outline. It's like, if I'm going to call you later and tell you some of the things that I remember, because I remember all the things that I'm like, you've got to write that down, because it's just like such a great idea. So, okay.
Someone's asking if I had dinner with my family. That was my demerit this week. Adam and I had dinner together. We couldn't rope in Jack, but
2 out of 3. Someone says, I used the grounding technique this morning. I focused on the soap lather on my hands, and it really helped to bring me out of my thoughts into the present. Well, that's wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that helped. Somebody says, great idea, Liz. I'm going to do that too. Someone says, oh, happy birthday, Ruby. Okay, everybody say happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ruby.
Someone said, let's start a writing group. We probably can't do that here other than just doing accountability check-in. But just know, if you go over to the Better app, which is just search Better Gretchen Rubin in the App Store. You can go to it's betterapp.us on desktop, or just search Better Gretchen Rubin app. You can start or join an accountability group there. That is a place for people to talk about happiness and also the four tendencies. And a lot of people use the Better app as a way to create accountability groups, either because like they're introverted and they don't want to have like another meeting with people, or it's a time thing where I don't have the time to like connect in person or like organize a call, but we can do it kind of check in as we can because it's virtual. And so you can do it with people that you know, or you can do it with people that you don't know. It can all be for writing, or you can even have an accountability group where people are just holding each other account. Like you could hold me accountable for writing. I could hold you accountable for snacking. We could hold somebody else accountable for walking. Obligers often hold themselves accountable for things that are fun, like playing tennis. Or
my friend who's a obliger holds herself accountable for getting a massage. Not now, but in other times.
But I mean, that kind of to somebody else might sound like, oh, why would you need that? But I'm like, I completely get that for an obliger. And it's actually really smart, because then you don't get obliger rebellion, because you feel like you're getting those things that recharge you. So if you feel like that would work for you, and by the way, writing is a classic example of something where if you don't have accountability, it often feels impossible, and people often think it's writer's block, but really it's an obliger issue related to accountability. And so it's like, I've told so many people, just tell your agent that you'll send them a chapter every month, and just tell them to threaten you. And it works like a charm.
And Gretchen, someone asked if we picked a book for our Happier book club, our podcast book club yet. We've picked it, but I don't know if we're ready to announce.
We don't have the interview on the books, and so I don't want to jinx it, but it's super exciting, and it's a fantastic book, and it's a fantastic author. So that's just the teaser. But just because I do feel a little superstitious, I mean, the person wants to do it, but we do not have it like actually scheduled yet. Okay. So tomorrow is Friday, which means it's Ask Us Anything. So be thinking if there's any questions you want to ask us. And so in the meantime, the challenge for tomorrow is, should we do, is there a way you could have a smaller life? Is there something that you could think of to eliminate decision fatigue, or to make it easier to do chores, like going from a week to 10 days or 2 weeks? Could you, whatever it might be, it's hard sometimes to think about a smaller life.
It is. That's why we asked our audience, because we were trying to just think of things for Sara to do, because she was so overwhelmed. And we just said, I think we need to ask our listeners. And we have already gotten several emails. So
well, you're right that people think of things that you would never have thought of, again, because it's like there's people are drawing from their own experience. So we can all learn from each other, which is a huge theme of all of this. So we will see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Let's keep our hands clean and our minds clear. Bye.
Bye.